Greetings! In this video, I will be talking and discussing on whether my gamer motivation profile fits how I play games or not. The game I selected for this is Final Fantasy 16. There will be a boss fight footage on the screen through the entire video. Without further ado, let us begin. In my gamer motivation profile, the action category scored 57%, placing me slightly above average. This score indicates that while I enjoy action-packed elements in games, they aren't my primary focus. Breaking this down, my distraction component is at 54%. This aligns with my enjoyment of games where I can unleash chaos with destructive abilities, whether it's casting powerful spells or wielding devastating attacks. I appreciate having tools that let me feel like a force of nature. However, I don't seek out games solely for this aspect, so the slightly above average score feels just right. Next, my excitement component is at 59%. This shows that I enjoy fast-paced, intense gameplay that keeps me on the edge of my seat. I love moments of surprise and rapid action, which can be found in everything from energetic combat sequences to quick decision-making challenges. For example, in Final Fantasy 16, the dynamic icon battles deliver an adrenaline rush that I truly enjoy. Still, while these moments are thrilling, they are not the central reason I play games, which makes this score a good representation of my preferences. Moving on to the social category, my score here is 27%, which places me on the lower end. This indicates a preference for solo gaming experiences where I can maintain independence. My competition score is just 11%. This reflects my lack of interest in directly competing against other players. While I occasionally play competitive games like League of Legends, I find much more enjoyment in story-driven games where the focus is on the narrative rather than defeating other players. This score aligns well with my gaming style. On the other hand, my community score is 64%, showing a strong preference for social and collaborative gaming experiences. This feels somewhat accurate as I absolutely love playing story-driven co-op games with friends. One of my all-time favorites is It Takes Two, which thrives on a compelling narrative and teamwork. Similarly, games like Portal 2 and Ultimate Chicken Horse are good examples of how much I enjoy these cooperative experiences. However, I do find this score could be even higher considering how much I value these experiences. Interestingly, while I enjoy co-op games, my preference leans heavily toward those with a strong story component. Games like Minecraft or Raft, which emphasize open-ended collaboration but lack a defined narrative, don't appeal to me as much. In summary, the social category captures a mixed picture. I'm not drawn to competitive multiplayer gaming, but I have a strong passion for story-rich co-op experiences, even if my community score could arguably be higher to reflect this. Now let's take a look at the mastery category where my score is 64%. This suggests that I gravitate toward challenging and strategic gaming experiences, but I have to admit, this doesn't quite align with how I actually play games. Starting with the challenge component, I scored 76%. This is surprisingly high for me. While I do enjoy a bit of challenging games, it's far from being a primary motivator. I'm not the type to seek out punishing difficulty or spend hours mastering a boss in Dark Souls. In fact, I often prefer to keep the difficulty moderate to avoid frustration. If I were to reassess, I'd say my challenge score should be closer to 30% or even lower. As for strategy, my score is 45%, which also feels too high. I don't particularly enjoy games that require meticulous planning or strategic foresight. Titles like Civilization or XCOM don't appeal to me as much as action-oriented games. While I occasionally appreciate strategic elements, they are not a key part of my gaming preferences. A score closer to 20% would better reflect my style. Overall, while the mastery category portrays me as someone who thrives on challenge and strategy, this is not accurate. I lean far more toward action-packed and immersive experiences over games that test my patience or planning skills. Next up is the achievement category, where my score is an impressive 98%. This is spot on, as achieving everything a game has to offer is a core part of my gaming identity. Let's break this down. My completion score is 97%, which perfectly reflects my need to finish every mission, collect every item, and explore every hidden corner of a game world. Over the years, I have earned countless platinum trophies on PlayStation, a testament to my dedication to completing games thoroughly. Whether it's hunting down collectibles or unlocking every achievement, I feel a sense of accomplishment in leaving no stone unturned. Similarly, my power score is 93%. This aligns with my enjoyment of becoming as strong as possible in the games I play. I love seeking out powerful weapons or abilities, whether it's through exploring the game world or completing challenging quests. There's something incredibly satisfying about seeing my character evolve into a dominant force equipped with the best tools the game has to offer. In Final Fantasy XVI, this passion for achievement plays out clearly. For example, I spent time not just completing the main story, but also tackling side quests, collecting rare gear, and mastering powerful icon abilities. These pursuits make the game more immersive and rewarding for me. Now, I would like to show a gameplay footage of mine to explain why my completion score is this high. As you can see, here in this part of Final Fantasy XVI, the enemy icon Garuda has fractions scattered around, and there are a lot of them. An average player can walk through them here and access the boss right away. But when I realized they drop a rare item when killed, I just had to kill them all, doing the same fight over and over again just to get those items. I will speed up the rest of the footage to the end. Alright, that's enough of that. Now let's return to the boss fight footage and continue on with the next category. The creativity category scored just 2% and I completely agree. Discovery at 8% reflects my lack of interest in experimenting with game mechanics or exploring beyond the intended gameplay. Similarly, my design score of 3% shows that customizing characters or building game worlds isn't something I enjoy. These activities feel more like work than play to me. In Final Fantasy XVI, I focus on the action and story, leaving the creative aspects behind. This category perfectly captures my practical approach to gaming. And finally, we come to the immersion category where my score is an impressive 93%. This reflects exactly how I prioritize storytelling and world building in the games I play. In the fantasy component, I scored 87%. I love being transported into alternate worlds, stepping into the shoes of a new character and exploring rich, immersive settings. And speaking of fantasy, it's no surprise I'm showcasing Final Fantasy, a game that perfectly embodies this love for fantastical worlds. My story score is even higher at 92%, which feels completely accurate. For me, a compelling narrative with multidimensional characters is the heart of any great game. I dive deep into storylines, unraveling the backstories and relationships of characters, much like those in The Last of Us or Red Dead Redemption. Games like these keep me engaged far beyond the gameplay itself. In Final Fantasy XVI, the intricate plot and character arcs are exactly why it's such a standout experience for me. The narrative is what makes the battles, quests, and exploration so much more meaningful. Immersion for me is the ultimate priority in gaming. It's not just about playing a game, it's about living a story. In conclusion, my profile highlights my focus on achievement and immersive storytelling, with Final Fantasy XVI being a perfect example. Thanks for watching.